I'm Sven. I'm head of UX at Digital Science. I'm originally from Berlin. I moved to the UK a lot of years ago, and my role is to work with our portfolio companies on lots of UX projects, mentoring junior, medium, mid-level people, product managers.
Why is soft skills such an important aspect when hiring a UX designer?
I think the key job of a UX designer is to solve problems for people, together with people, and so being able to empathize with your users, putting yourself into their shoes, and understanding really what they're struggling with, and then as a second step, translating that into solutions that work for users, and convincing your stakeholders, your developers, your product managers, your management to actually put that into practice is the key part of the job.
Is there a soft skill which you find most important?
I think the most important soft skill is really empathy, relating to your users and understanding their problem. Because if you just go into problem-solving mode directly, you'll design for yourself rather than for other people. So I think that's the key skill you need. There's a lot more. I think you need a lot of soft skills as a UX designer, but that is probably the one. Look, the key difference between how relevant certain soft skills are has more to do with, I think, your seniority and your responsibilities in the job, rather than whether you work in-house or in an agency. So if you're a more junior mid-level person who's given a brief to do a certain job, then it's mostly about, yes, understanding the user, relating to them, thinking about creative solutions to the problem, most definitely communicating them with your team, with developers, getting them on board. But things like leadership skills, mentoring, negotiating, winning kind of new projects, that comes in more at the senior level. And you have that in-house as much as in an agency.
Do untraditional ways into UX, i.e. sales, actually benefit you?
So I've thought about that, because I have not encountered a single person who's come from a sales or that kind of background into UX. I think there's quite a few people who come from a different field. So things I've encountered is from finance. I've had a lawyer who was really good. I think a common transition path would be psychology, although then you usually end up more in the kind of UX research role. So in terms of soft skills, I would also distinguish between someone who's more of a UX designer, so more heavily involved with the actual design side, versus someone who is more of a researcher. They probably come from a psychology, ergonomics, HCI background. And I think the fundamental challenge is the soft skills are really important, but you need the hard skills too. And if you come from a different field, you haven't studied it for a long time, then usually the people I've encountered are the ones who've played with websites, with code, hacked technology for a long time as a kid, as a teenager, and then maybe they made a different career decision along the way, and then they realize that isn't really satisfying for them, and then they move into design, into UX, as they find their passion and find that that's much more satisfying. And then if they had a job in between with a lot of transferable skills, like soft skills, then that is obviously really beneficial.
Do you find soft skills more relevant in an agency or a client side?
I think I kind of answered that already. I think it has more to do with the level of seniority, what kind of soft skills are relevant. Because where in an agency, maybe yes, you have to pitch to clients to win new contracts, you have to negotiate with them, you have to convince them of things that if you were kind of in the team to just get the solution done, you might not need those skills. In-house, you have the same challenges as you're more senior, and you try to convince the CEO of releasing more budget, or a portfolio company, you work with a different team that you're not a part of, and you want to convince them of kicking off a new project, a new initiative. So So it's less where you work, it's more, I think, your responsibilities that you have in the job.